Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're really digging into something pretty fundamental, how technology is changing the actual classroom experience.
Yeah, and our source for this is the latest Jeffco Ed Tech Department newsletter, Transformations. That's the October 2025 issue, number 43.
And they're using some pretty strong language in there.
They really are. They're calling this new feature let me get this right, the biggest singular update to come from Google in years. So our job today really is to unpack that.
Right. Cut through the hype a bit and see what this means for, actual teaching. We're talking about Google Class Tools or GCT.
Exactly, GCT, and putting it into the context of, well, the training and professional development that needs to go along with such a big shift.
Because let's face it, the challenge is huge. Every student has a device, right? But keeping them focused on the lesson, that's the tricky part.
It really is. And this source, Transformations, it suggests that GCT is, maybe, the tech answer they've been looking for.
So if you're maybe getting ready for this big change in the district, this conversation is kind of your shortcut to understanding what's coming.
Absolutely. It seems like Google's trying to bridge that gap,
Yeah.
between powerful digital tools and keeping that focused learning environment.
Okay, so let's get into it. Segment one, what exactly is Google Class Tools? Break it down for us.
Okay, so at its heart, GCT is basically a classroom management tool, but specifically designed for Chromebooks.
Management tool. Okay.
Uh,
But how is it different from, say, what teachers might already be using?
Well, that's the key. It's about shifting from just watching what students are doing, kind of passively monitoring.
Right, the reactive approach.
Exactly. To something much more active. It's about real-time control and, importantly, sharing content instantly. Teachers aren't just observers. They're directing the digital traffic, so to speak.
Okay. So proactive control and content delivery, that does sound like a big change in workflow. Let's talk logistics, though. These things always have requirements.
Oh, absolutely. And this one's critical. The newsletter really hammers this home. GCT only works. Only works if both the teacher and the student are using Jeffco managed Chromebooks.
Jeffco Manit. Okay. Why is that so strict? Why not, a student's personal Chromebook?
It really comes down to the level of control GCT needs to do things like restrict tabs, push specific content, view screens remotely. It needs deeper access than a normal user has.
Like administrative privileges built in.
Pretty much. The managed devices allow the district to set policies that give GCT those permissions. It turns the Chromebooks into, like, synchronized teaching tools when a session is active, ensures it works, and stays secure.
Okay, that makes sense. It's about deep system integration. And speaking of systems, there's an OS requirement too, right? And a timeline.
Yes, absolutely. You need the new Chrome operating system, version 138, for GCT to function.
OS 138. Okay.
And the rollout for that to the managed Chromebooks, it started on October 14th.
October 14th. So just recently.
Just recently. And it's crucial for you listening to understand this is a rollout. It's not like flipping a switch and everyone gets it instantly.
Right. Thousands of devices take time, so check your OS version if you're expecting to use this soon.
Definitely. Verify that OS version.
Okay, that staggered timeline is important. Let's move into segment two. What are the features that make this control, worth it? The aha moments. You mentioned efficiency.
Yeah, efficiency is a big one right off the bat. Starting a class session. GCT lets teachers launch a session straight from their Google Classroom rosters.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Think about the old ways, right? Logging into another tool, maybe students typing in codes. It could be messy.
Definitely eats up those first few minutes, so no more codes.
Nope. Pulls right from the roster. That alone streamlines things considerably. But where it gets really powerful, like you said, is managing the content.
Right, the control part.
That's the game changer, really.
Yeah.
The teacher can push out, say, a specific website, a digital worksheet, whatever, and then, this is the key, they can restrict student access only to those materials. Everything else, locked down. Other tabs, other apps, websites, gone for that session.
Wow. So if the task is read these two articles and answer questions in this doc, the student literally can't open anything else. No YouTube, no games.
Exactly. It creates this like temporary, focused digital sandbox just for the lesson. Pretty powerful for keeping students on task.
Okay, I can see the appeal there. Total focus. What else? You mentioned accessibility and monitoring.
Yeah, there are some useful built-in tools, things like live captions and translations for accessibility.
That's great.
And then there's the monitoring piece, remote viewing of student screens.
Okay, let's talk about that. Remote viewing, it's powerful, but sometimes feels a bit Big Brother-ish.
Yeah.
How does the newsletter frame that?
It's framed entirely from an instructional standpoint. Seeing what students are doing allows teachers to, spot misunderstandings quickly, give timely help, or see if someone's off task. It's presented as a way to provide better support faster.
An immediate feedback loop. I get that. But still, that feeling of being constantly watched, did they build in anything to balance that out, make it feel more collaborative?
They did, actually, and it's quite clever. The same system that allows monitoring also lets a teacher showcase a student's screen to the whole class.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So if a student does great work, solves a problem creatively, the teacher can instantly share that with everyone. It uses the oversight tech for positive reinforcement and sharing.
That's smart. Turns a control feature into a potential collaboration tool. Okay, so this is a powerful tool, clearly changes how things work, which means training is essential. Let's pivot to segment 3, the broader EdTech support system.
Right. You can't just drop something like GCT on teachers without support. The newsletter makes it clear the EdTech team has ongoing learning opportunities. This isn't a one-off.
And their big event, the main push for adoption and training, seems to be their annual conference, Get Your Tech On.
That's the one. It's set for November 8th, 2025, over at Arvada West High School. And it sounds like it's really geared towards getting teachers comfortable and, maybe more importantly, thinking about how to use GCT effectively in their teaching. Not just the clicks, but the pedagogy.
Makes sense. And what are the perks? What's drawing teachers in, according to the newsletter?
Well, practical stuff, first breakfast and lunch are included. Always helps.
Definitely.
But more substantively, the keynote speaker is Tyler Tarver. He's pretty well known for practical, engaging tech integration ideas.
Okay, yeah, people will recognize that name.
And they also mentioned amazing prizes. So they're clearly trying to build buzz and encourage attendance, making the training accessible and appealing.
It shows they understand this is more than just software. It's a shift in how classrooms might operate. Now, segment 4. This part I found really fascinating. The EdTech team is actually using advanced tech for their own communication.
Yes. This is sort of a practice what you preach situation. The newsletter itself, Transformations, is now also available on YouTube, but not as a video, as an audio overview.
Like a mini podcast version of the newsletter? How are they making that? Is someone reading it?
No, and that's the surprising part. It's an AI experiment. They're using functionality within Google's Notebook LM to automatically generate these audio summaries.
Whoa, okay. Notebook LM. For those maybe not familiar, what is that, basically? And why is it a big deal they're using it this way?
So think of Notebook LM as like Google's smart research assistant. You can feed it documents like the whole newsletter, and it can understand, synthesize, and generate summaries or answer questions about it.
Right.
The fact that the EdTech team is using it to create an audio version of their newsletter, that's a big indicator. They're betting that AI can be used not just for student stuff, but for their own internal efficiency, creating new ways to consume information.
That's potentially huge for saving time and resources. Instead of someone recording and editing, the AI just generates the audio.
Exactly. It's a test run, a proof of concept. Can AI reliably turn our text updates into something listenable, save staff time, reaches people who prefer audio? It's smart.
Very smart. And are they asking for feedback on this AI audio?
They are, explicitly. They want to know if people find this AI-generated overview useful, if the quality is good enough. They're actively evaluating if this is a real, scalable option for the future. It's low-stakes testing of potentially disruptive tech.
Really interesting to see them applying the tools directly. Okay, let's wrap this up. Synthesizing everything. What's the core takeaway about GCT?
The main transformation, I think, is that shift we talked about. Moving away from just watching students digitally to actively controlling and synchronizing their digital environment during lesson time. GCT gives teachers much stronger real-time management tools.
Enforcing that focus.
Right, but it all depends on having those specific technical pieces in place. The Jesco managed devices and that new Chrome OS 138. Without those, GCT doesn't really do anything.
That infrastructure is key. Okay, so it definitely enables a very structured, focused use of devices, which naturally leads to bigger questions.
It really does.
So here's something for you, the listener, to think about. GCT offers this powerful capability for instant content restriction, remote viewing, basically ensuring instructional focus. But it achieves this by essentially removing digital autonomy during that time. If GCT perfectly structures every moment of a student's digital interaction for maximum efficiency, what happens to the development of their own self-management skills? Their ability to handle distractions or regulate their own device use when that structure isn't there? Consider that trade-off. Immediate focus versus maybe long-term digital independence and maturity.
That's a really important caution for educators navigating this new landscape of controlled digital learning.
Hmm.
A lot to think about there.
Indeed. Thanks for diving in with us today.